Happy Thursday. We are back to talk week 8 of the UFL. I got guest host Anthony Miller in here today. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing good. How you doing, sir?
Very good, man. It's nice to see you. I know we spoke many a times over the past few years, not including last year, but it's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you. I was gonna say you got the XFL hat that we got from the championship game back in 23. That feels like a lifetime ago.
Yes, sir. You know exactly where it's from. I see a few of us wearing it around occasionally and doing content. So, one of
Yeah.
my favorites. I actually got a backup up there hanging out.
Oh,
So
do you?
Yeah, I've got all kinds of hats, man. I'll say I'm a collector, but I mean, I wear them,
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's good to see you. And talking beforehand, before we get started, you've been pretty busy your way. Like, things have changed since we last spoke. I mean, can we get a quick update?
Yeah. I mean, I think I was just telling you, I was in sales until August, and then um, life kind of has a weird way of going. But I got laid off from that job, but I ended up doing so well with my fan side of stuff that I'm kind of full time on the writing reporting stuff now. So, yeah, I'm running 2 sites for Fansided for the Philadelphia Eagles and Chicago Bears. I also write about the Vikings, and yeah, I came back to News Hub a few months ago before the season started, and yeah, now I'm kind of full time on this thing. So it's been kind of a crazy wild ride. I took a massive risk, and so far so good. We'll see what the future holds, but for now, I'm just enjoying everything that I've done, and I've just I've just been enjoying my life right now.
That's a big step, man. So congrats. It's a ballsy move to say, hey, I'm gonna do my hobby as my full-time job and actually make it, man. So I'm happy for you. Proud of you as well, dude. That, like I said, that's huge.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a big risk, but I owe a lot to my wife for pushing me to actually go through with it and try it out. And almost a year into it, and so far it's worked out pretty well. So hopefully it keeps going.
Yes, sir. I've noticed you were a little more active in terms of in-game appearances, and that's why I was curious. So that's awesome, dude. That you're doing what you want to do, man. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the inflation and gas prices and stuff have kind of affected my travels a little bit. My goal this year was to try to get to every home, like try to hit up at least one home game for each team, and it was just too expensive at the end of the day. But I was able to go out to Louisville, been to Houston, been to um, Frisco for Dallas, and then I was at Fort Hood last week. So I've been getting around, and then I'll be going to DC here in a few weeks for the championship game. So I got to some places, not all of them, but hopefully in the next year or two I can try to hit up the rest.
It's still pretty good, man. It's a good feat. I know, like I said, there's only a few people that are doing that right now. You, Matty Fresh, he's been to a few. James
James
Larson,
Larson.
of course.
Yeah, I want to say
Yep,
James Larson's been to all of them, or
yep,
maybe
yep.
most of them, if not
But
all.
see, he's pretty consistent in his yearly attendance and stuff.
Yes.
I'm all anytime I've been to like a Birmingham game, he's there. I've been to 3 Birmingham games, and he's always been there. So I'm kind of used to seeing him any of the big games.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't know. It's cool that some of the people from back in like 22, 23 are still rolling. It's nice
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah, I know people come, people go, but some of us are still trucking away at it. I mean, we're kind of the old dogs now, so
Yeah, it's crazy how it changes, huh?
yeah, I know.
Let's roll into week 8. Honestly, week 8 of the UFL was kind of action packed. It wasn't so good amongst like I don't know, great gameplay, but in terms of games, one score games, we had a pretty good week. Starting it off Friday, the Storm took on the Renegades in Fort Hood. The Storm beat the Renegades 31-24. That game was on Fox. No tickets sold. Am I wrong on that? They did just give tickets out, if I saw that correctly.
Yes, they gave away tickets to the military and their families, and I think they had some where they can give the friends as well. So I want to say the initial press release, I think from Fort Hood, said it was over 4,000 that I
That's
think
what I
they
thought.
gave away, and it definitely felt like it. Like it was pretty packed, but I think the stadium seats like 5,000 to 6,000.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll get on the specific on it in a minute. Let's hop on the game. I just wanted to make sure I had that right because I would have changed it right now.
Yeah.
um, So this game in itself, I expected more out of the Storm, honestly. It was a good game, but I thought the Storm would kind of steamroll the Renegades. First half was kind of even, in my opinion. 10-10 going into halftime. I thought both offenses looked decent or pretty good going into the second half, just entering the second half. The Renegades really caught back up. They could have won this game, but that late game interception from Reed kind of sealed the deal for Orlando to get the dub. So they locked in that playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of feel bad for Austin because I didn't think he played that bad. I mean, there's so much inefficiency going on with that passing game. It's been quite frankly very frustrating to watch just because they have so many great weapons in that offense. Like Tyler Vaughn's, I think has only had like 125 yards or something like that since the 5 game losing streak has started. Like they can't get him involved, but for Orlando, I mean, it was the Jack Plummer show. I mean, he carried that whole team. The running game was not there at all. Like Corbin was getting stuff, Stewart was getting stuff, Dotson was getting stuff. It was all about that 71-yard touchdown run that Plummer had, which I tell you in person, it looked fast. Like he looked super fast, and it threw me off big time because I was like, I did not think he was that fast. But that had to be one of the most impressive runs I've seen from a quarterback in a long time. So major credit to him. He has been so good this year. He would be my vote for the MVP right now. He's only thrown 1 pick in 8 games. So he's been one of the very few quarterbacks in this league who has actually been efficient in protecting the football consistently.
Yep.
So that was it was impressive to see in person. That was the first time I've seen the Storm in person, and Plummer is the real deal. Like he's definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Chris Rowan, I thought, had a really good game too. I think he had like 4 third downs that he converted himself. So that Orlando team's got a lot of good weapons there, and then defensively a little bit disappointing for Orlando, but overall I think that unit's pretty solid. But I know they've had some injuries that they've had to go through, so credit to Anthony Beck and that coaching staff for being able to find the right players to kind of fit in there and get it done. And then, for Dallas is just what a disappointment. Just watching 5 straight from a team that was the number 1 offense in the league after 3 weeks to kind of see them collapse the way they have. It's been rough. And now they lost Willie Taylor for the season. That was their top pass rusher. So right now it just feels like it's just a domino effect, and it's just not getting better for them. And I don't know if it's going to get any better because they got Louisville this weekend, and then they got St. Louis in the final week of the season, where St. Louis is probably going to be fighting for potentially the top seed. So I honestly, I've tried to believe in Dallas. I've tried to stick with them for a while, but like I can see them losing both games. And man, that would be just so disappointing from a talented roster. I like Coach Neuheisel. I think he has the right mindset. I think he's the right coach for the league. It's just I don't know how to explain like this collapse. The only thing I can think of is play calling has just been a disaster offensively. They just don't push the ball down the field. Outside of that Seth Green touchdown catch, they had no explosive plays in the passing game. They did do a good job running the ball. Like Ellis Merriweather had a great game, but besides that, this offense is just, I don't know, just so stagnant and boring. Like I don't know. They need a jolt if they want any shot at making the playoffs. But honestly, I'd give them 0 shot at making the postseason at this point.
Yeah, agreed. The 5-game losing streak is a bad place to be, and it's the longest losing streak of the UFL season so far amongst the teams. It's kind of scary, whether you're a fan or a player.
I mean, this feels like the longest losing streak I've seen in a long time. I'm trying to think of other ones in the other leagues, but this just feels like it's just never ending. It's just massively disappointing from a team that probably had championship aspirations over a month ago, and now they probably have no shot at making the playoffs unless they go on an insane run at this point.
Yeah, they'd have to turn it around totally. Yeah, it's Merriweather had 12 carries for 75 yards. The total rushing yards for Dallas was 141. So I mean, pretty good rushing yards there. 123 yards passing total. Is that, I got that correct? Man, I don't know. As a Renegades, I mean, you are the Renegades as far as I'm concerned. Do you think they're regretting this trade for Luis Perez to St. Louis? I feel like that was a catalyst right there that kind of sparked the downfall of this team.
No, Neuheisel loves Austin Reed. I don't think Perez ever had a chance of starting. Neuheisel has loved Austin Reed from day one. I think Austin Reed can be an NFL quarterback. I actually really do. He's got all the mechanics. He's got the tools. I just don't know what's happened that it feels like to me their offense coordinator Noel has like lost confidence in just doing anything with the passing game and doing anything with Austin Reed. It just feels like they play it so safe. They don't they don't bomb the ball down the field. It's a very short, intermediate passing attack that very rarely is yielding any kind of good results. So it just feels like just poor play calling. The running game's been kind of inconsistent, but I thought last week was one of the better performances of the season from the backfield, and that was without Day Hunter, who was inactive for the game. So that's even more impressive from the Renegades, but. Um, I doubt they regret it because Neuheisel's so high on Reed. I personally probably wouldn't have traded Perez, especially with that losing streak the way it happened. But hindsight's 2020. They probably thought they can bounce back with Austin Reed because Neuheisel's talked about time and time again. Like, this is an NFL quarterback. I'm gonna get him back into the NFL. That's my goal, and just hasn't happened. So I don't think Perez ever had a shot of starting, but if I was the Renegades, I probably wouldn't have made that trade. But then again, they got Corey Stewart out of it, and he's been starting at left tackle the last game or two. So Renegades have had some issues with injuries on the offensive line. So that trade actually ended up maybe working out kind of beneficially for them so that they can actually get some depth on the offensive line and get some help there. But it still feels like, man, that was a tough decision to make that trade because it's not looking so great right now.
Yeah. I just wanted to follow your thoughts on it because we've talked about it on another show, Zomfox and I have, and it's like, man, this trade is just shaking your head. It's interesting. Austin Reed still has the most passing touchdowns in the league at 16. And as well, the Renegades have the most passing yards average per game with 206. So, I mean, they're throwing the ball. He's getting a chance to throw it. But like you said, the play calls are just so dry. There's nothing that's big. There's nothing that's down the field. It's kind of, short and steady. That's what we're doing.
Well, the crazy part is this is the first week since week one that Austin Reed is not leading the league in passing yards. It's now Jeff Plummer who took the lead this week, and Austin Reed's been leading it every single week all year. But when you stack up these games that he's only throwing 100, 150 yards per game, like that was eventually going to happen. I couldn't believe it took this long to get to that point, but that just shows you the kind of passing game this team has had and the kind of struggles they've had all season.
No doubt. So let's talk about the tickets. We know that they were given out. We had a few people that attended or tried to attend. I'm not sure of the details. I know some folks had to get approved and then went into the game.
Yeah, I think you could do it through Fort Hood, that you can reach out to them about potentially coming in as a visitor and doing it. But I think for the most part, you needed to have some kind of family member or something in the military to get in. But I did see the mayor there. I saw some UFL fans that were at the game, so people were able to get in. So I went in. I got in through the UFL, but I know some people went in through Fort Hood.
How was the feel there? I mean, TV-wise, there wasn't too much energy. I'll say that. You could tell it wasn't in a home stadium, I guess you can say. But how was it there in person?
Oh, it was great. I thought the energy was great from the stadium. I mean, it was nearly packed in the stands. I'd probably say it was about 80, 85% filled, and the crowd was really into it from start to finish. But what I liked about it was that it was very family friendly. So even the kids, even though they probably didn't know any player or coach on that field, they enjoyed themselves. They were running around, they were loud, they were getting crazy. A lot of them were asking for autographs from everybody, literally anybody that was on the field, from the mascots to the cheerleaders to just random military members walking on the sidelines. Everyone was just super into it, and it was a really cool experience, a very unique experience. Kind of felt like watching a high school football game, to be honest, but I don't know, it just was very different, and it was just a great crowd. I thought I've said like that national anthem was one of the most powerful national anthems
It was
I've seen
nice.
in person. It just felt a little different from being on a military base and talking about the importance of those men and women who are serving and protecting us. It was just a different vibe with that. So I thought overall it was a great experience. Fort Hood treated us really well in the media. Their collaboration with the UFL, like this was an absolute home run for the league. And I've suggested it. I hope they do it once a year, every year now, but do it in other military bases around the country that are close to like the local markets. So like if you got one in Alabama, go to a military base in Alabama, maybe do 1 year in DC. I think this could be it may hurt them revenue wise for a game, but I think it's a great way to give back to the military. And I think it looks great on TV.
Yeah, yeah, it did look good on TV. I think I'm kind of used to the sounds. Are they pumping some sounds into some of the stadiums? Because that's when I'm watching it myself, I'm like, man, it's just quiet. Like you said, it's almost like a high school football game feels from the watching last week. I know the sky out there was just beautiful, man. On TV, looking at it, the
The
layout.
sunset is great out
Yeah, I
there.
mean, it was just beautiful. So
Yeah.
I agree. I think it was a great thing, and it's better than having a game. I mean, and people not appreciating it. So might as well, you know.
I mean, there was probably more people at that game than has been at most of the Dallas Renegades home games
Yeah,
all year. So that was probably the best crowd they've had all year. So
no doubt. Let's quickly on the TV average. Fox usually holds up pretty well. But any comments on that on your end?
I mean, Friday night games are typically between 600 to 680,000 from what I've seen. So this is about average to where they are usually. So, I mean, it's just the reality of Friday night games. It was the same thing last year. It was between 500 to 600,000,
Yep,
about 500 to 650,000 last year too. So, as long as they stay in that range, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's a good number for a Friday night game.
agreed. Definitely agreed. And I enjoyed the Fox productions much better personally.
Yes, I will say ESPN is getting better with it, but I think Fox is still a bit superior to how they do the games.
For sure, for sure. Let's roll on to the second game. The Defenders took on the Kings in Louisville. Defenders went down 30-33. Oh, the biggest talking point of this game, Jordan Teamu is out for the season. I will say that's got to be the biggest coming out of this game. Honestly, close game. I thought the Defenders were going to catch it up, and they had the opportunity. They had it, and they just couldn't pull it. And man, this one was a tough one because, I mean, the first play of the game, DC score, kickoff.
Mhm.
Kickoff return score. I mean, I'm thinking this is going to be an action-packed matchup, and it definitely ticked down as we went through. But all in all, it was 17-17 going into halftime, so still a solid game. DC got that touchdown in the last few seconds, and if they'd have just got that 3-point conversion, we would have been looking at a overtime matchup. So close dub there for Louisville, but it was an awesome game to watch.
Yeah, pretty sloppy at the beginning. I think it was 3 to 4 turnovers just that first quarter alone. I
Yeah,
think
back and forth,
6-12 for
back
the
and forth.
game. Yeah, it just it got a little crazy with that at the beginning, but Jordan's injury is obviously devastating for DC's chances of winning a championship. I'm really fascinated to see if they go with Spencer Sanders or Jason Bean. My assumption would be Jason Bean, but they probably went with Sanders because he's more experienced in this offense, and he was okay. He actually played a little bit better than I thought he was going to, especially for a guy that really hasn't had significant play in action in multiple. It's been probably 2-3 years since Oklahoma State, where he attended school. So I didn't think he was horrible, and he kept them in the game. So kudos to him. Louisville, I think, is just really impressive right now. 2 straight against one of the best teams in the league, and they're right. They've been on the cusp all year. They've been in a lot of close games. They've been getting better and better each week. And I think the last couple of weeks we kind of seen like this is the real Louisville Kings team that I think has a legit shot at making the playoffs. Their defense is great. I love Cam Gill. I think he's the best pass rusher in this league. Cameron Dantzler is just so elite in his in the secondary. That unit's got a lot of good individual talent. Has done a great job. I think the only thing that may hold his team back is Chandler Rogers. And I actually like Chandler Rogers. He's played a lot better than I thought he has, but he's been inconsistent. But he's not turning the ball over at a crazy amount. This Louisville Kings team is so reliant on the running game, though, that Chandler Rogers is not the type of quarterback that can carry the team on his back, and that's what concerns me, is because this Kings offensive line has been really up and down, and a lot of it was down at the beginning of the year, and then they made a lot of changes. They cut some players, they brought some guys in, and it seems like it's kind of better right now, but if James Robinson and Ian Wheeler don't get the job done in the backfield, then that Louisville Kings offense is in a ton of trouble. So they got to be able to run the ball on a consistent basis. But I really love what Louisville's done. I've been so impressed with Chris Redmond. He was, between him and Ted Ginn, like I thought those two would really struggle more than anyone else. But I would say Redmond arguably may be the best first-year coach of them, or at least the most impressive first-year coach of them all. He's got that team really believing in him, and they're pulling out some wins. It's crazy to think about. If they would have beaten Birmingham in week 1 like they should have, if they didn't have that fumble at the 1-yard line, and then if Dean Blandino didn't absolutely screw them over in that overtime Orlando game, like this Kings team might be the best team in the UFL. They may have the best record. So it's kind of wild to think about, but this Kings team is better than what the record shows. This is a legit team. It's just, unfortunately, the tough losses at the beginning of the year might hold this team back from, getting that 3rd or 4th spot in the playoffs. But, kudos to Louisville. They're a really good football team. I've been very impressed with them.
Agreed on all fronts. I doubted Rogers' ability for Louisville coming in just because he was kind of static in the pocket. He wasn't really moving. We've seen the past couple of weeks, he's got a little wiggle in his feet now compared to that first start, I believe. They lost, and then since then they've won, and he's actually getting some rushing yards. So, we're seeing.
Yeah, I think a big moment for him was that first DC game where he took that massive hit and he got right back up. For all of us, it was so refreshing compared to Jason Bean like sliding at the 1-yard line in the Gamblers game. Like for that Kings team, like that, I think that really made a significant difference. That's why, like, I would stick it out with Rodgers all year. I know there were talks about at halftime of the game last week, like, oh, should they bench Rodgers? Like, no, I think you got to roll with him at this point. He's a good game manager. He's not great, but I think he's a good enough game manager that he can keep Louisville in games, keep them competitive, and hopefully just create an explosive play or two per game to keep him in it. But I like Rodgers. I like what he's done, and I think he's good for the team right now.
Yeah, agreed. He went 11 for 20, 143 yards and 1 passing touchdown. Let's see, 6 rushing attempts for 24 yards. Longest was 11. So average of 4 yards a play. I mean, that's solid.
Yeah, no, he's a solid quarterback. He's not great. Like, he's not going to be on the top half of the league, but he's right in the middle, and he's doing exactly what he needs to. I mean, they're not asking much from him. They're just asking him to manage the game, and he's managing it perfectly. So that's all you can ask from your quarterback.
Yep, no doubt. Let's talk before we move on to the TV and tickets. So DC had a total yards of 337 to Louisville's 251. DC outpassed Louisville 119 to 117 and outrushed Louisville 218 to 134. Crazy stat line right there.
Yeah, the crazy part is Deion Jackson only had 15 rushing yards. Like that's the part.
Say that.
Yep. They got Valladay, Abram Smith, like they both ran the ball well, and that was without the top running back, the top rusher in the league, having any kind of success. So I mean, that defender team is going to be so reliant on their running game. They're going to be a very one-dimensional team over the next few weeks. So they need to make sure that they can keep running the football, because if not, they may be in a little bit of trouble. So that's good. They have at least 3 running backs that can really step up and take significant carries if they need to.
Yep, agreed. And you have Jason Bean as well. I don't know if he'll take the hit, but he can run a little bit.
I got a feeling he may be a little more motivated to take some hits now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to lower his shoulder on like the first run he has, just to prove like, hey, I'm a tough guy. So
yeah, Rodgers said that hit from DC, that first big one, that's what sparked him up during that game and gave him the energy to do what he needed to do. So I mean that's football, baby. You gotta love it.
That's like a DTR with Birmingham when he, like a few weeks ago, when he went in as a lead blocker in the Orlando game. Like, stuff like that really makes a difference. Like, you don't have to be the greatest quarterback in the world, but if you can show the guys your toughness and you're willing to get your hands dirty, like, just the mental game is just as important as the physical part. So yeah, Rodgers, I'm telling you, Rodgers is the right guy for the job. Maybe next year they may need to find another quarterback, but I think what they have right now, I think he's perfect for that offense.
Agreed. So tickets sold 10,025. Good number there for Louisville.
I mean, Louisville's probably the most consistent at what they're doing right now. I mean, they've been consistently over 10,000 each game. So, that Louisville crowd has kudos to the city. What a great choice for the UFL to have a team, because, I look back at that first game I went to in Louisville, and man, that had to be one of the best environments that I've seen from a spring football league. So, Louisville just keeps proving week after week that they're the right choice for it. And I think it helps that they're a competitive team. I think it'd be a little bit different if they were like Columbus and they were 2-6, but because they're in the thick of the playoff hunt and they have one more home game, like, I fully expect Louisville to have a packed crowd for their last home game, because they've been a great choice. So kudos to them, because a lot of teams are struggling with attendance in this league this year, but they've been consistently good at it. So, good job to Louisville. They deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah. I never really doubted that market. Ever since they dropped it, I was like, oh, that's going to be a good one.
Yes.
And then next game, they're giving out bobbleheads as well. So that should be good.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of teams are doing the bobbleheads.
Yeah.
Like Gamblers are doing doing Jim Kelly.
Yep.
So hopefully those will bring some more fans out. I got a feeling Houston may have a little bit extra being left over, but
just a few.
Just a few.
The TV number has not dropped yet, so guys, be watching for Greg Parks to drop it. That's what I'm doing. I've got my notifications on, so if he drops that, we'll see it, and if not, search it up, see if you can find it. It's got to be from a legitimate source. It can't just be from so-and-so in Wikipedia. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll on to game 3. It's another Saturday game. The Gamblers traveled to St. Louis and took home the win from the Battlehawks 23-16. This game was on ABC, and man, can you say unexpected win?
I mean, I've been trying to bury Kevin Sumlin for weeks for, just not being able to close out games, and they finally closed out a game. They almost blew it. I mean, I think if there was maybe an extra 30 seconds left,
Yes.
I don't know if they would have won that game. Even heck, if they even had like an extra 5 seconds, like if Luis Perez would have gotten that the spike in on time, like I am pretty confident St. Louis probably would have scored and probably would either tie the game or win it. So Houston is very lucky. Now, I will say they have one of the best pass rushers in the league, also with Malik Fisher. He's come up big for them. That offense, like Hunter Deckers has actually played pretty well the last couple of weeks. It's a shame that Houston hasn't had the consistency at quarterback, because they've been just plagued with injuries. But it's hard to not to imagine, like, if Hunter Deckers would have been starting all season, like, where would this team be? Would they have an extra win or two and be, more into the playoff hunt that they are now? Like, I kind of wondered that, because they have a decent running game. They didn't run the ball well last week, but they do have a decent running game, and their defense has been pretty good. I want to say they've allowed like less than 20 points in like 3 straight weeks. Like, this defense is playing really well right now. So kudos to Houston. I've been trying to say they're one of the worst. They're the worst team in the league, but they came up with a massive win in St. Louis, which is just insane to me. And then, for the Battlehawks, a lot of people have been just, for lack of a better term, crapping on Luis Perez, but he's still the best option. He's done a really good job. Obviously, I think it's, he's still learning the offense a little bit, and he did have a couple of, bad turnovers in the game, one of them being the pick 6. But I think the problem with St. Louis is I wish AJ Smith would run the ball a little bit more. You can't ask Perez, who's over 30, to throw the ball 47 times a game and expect to win contests. Now, I know they were down 23-9 at one point, so they kind of felt like they were in desperation mode and needed to throw it. But I think that's just kind of been the biggest problem with the St. Louis team all year. They have a good running game. I just wish they would rely on it a little bit more, and especially with Perez. Like Perez is, he's just not where he needs to be anymore, where he can just sling the ball 40 to 50 times a game. I think you have to have a little bit more of a balanced attack. So, I think the St. Louis offense is good, and I think they're going to get a lot better now with Sal Cannella. So that's just going to make
Yeah.
them even more dangerous. So I'd be fascinated to see how that connection is going to be for them. I mean, St. Louis's defense has always been really good all year. They have a good front seven, so
Yep.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think this was just a fluke loss, and I still think St. Louis is probably one of the top teams in this league.
Yeah. I'm following what you're saying. Everybody has bad days, even pro football teams. It's just part of it.
Yep.
And now, if you lose again next week or this week, sorry, then we're really asking questions, right? Because this is the playoff opportunities you're missing with these next losses. If you lose,
Yeah, and they're playing Houston again. So I mean,
Yep.
for me, like even if they're on the road, like I feel like there's no excuse. Like I think St. Louis should win this game. They're the better team on paper. They have to win this game. If they lose, then I think it really does open the door for a team like Louisville to jump in and maybe take a playoff spot from them. So they literally cannot afford to lose it, because right now they got the Birmingham Stallions and Louisville Kings are probably two of the hottest teams in the league coming on strong at the right time. And then, I mean, if Houston wins this one, they're 4-5. They can easily sneak in at 5-5. So
Yep.
St. Louis has got to win this game. They should win it, but they better win it, or there's going to be some chaos that final week of the season.
Agreed. And it's crazy that we could see a 4-win team in the playoffs. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, somehow Columbus is still in this thing too, and they're 2-6. Like, imagine if they make it. But then again, we saw it in 2023 with the Dallas Renegades, Arlington Renegades. They were 4-6, and they won the championship. So I mean, we've seen weird things happen in spring football.
Yep, no doubt. Let's hit up the stats real quick. Deckers went 15 for 22, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So pretty good day for him, man. Like you said. Perez, this is what I wanted to highlight on. 26 for 47 for 308 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. 47 attempts. That's quite a bit for Mr. Perez.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling for AJ Smith. Like, you got to run the ball more. I mean, they got the talent in the backfield. Kylan James has been really playing well the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Like, he's an explosive back. You got to get him the ball more. Everyone knows what Howard can do. Like, they have the running backs to get it done, but they've got to be more focused on getting that running game going, because throwing the ball 47 times with Luis Perez is just, it's not working. It shouldn't happen again.
It's like getting Peyton Manning before the year before he retired and having him go crazy.
Exactly.
Unrealistic. And that kind of explains the end of the game to me as well. I'm sure he was just scattered. That's a busy game. And that, they had the opportunity to get at least caught up there at the end, and they could not get anything together to make the ball dead. In my mind, I thought he was just going to do like a fake pass, not a fake pass, but an attempted pass to someone and throw it out of bounds. But he tried to spike it instead, and they ran out of time.
Yeah, with situations like that, like, you just got to throw it to the sidelines and just get out of bounds. I think that was it was a poor decision. It was a poor play call. Like that has to be, just get any receiver, go to the sidelines when you catch it, just go out of bounds and live another down.
Yes, sir. Yeah, agreed with you. Tickets sold 21,609. That's a little low for St. Louis.
Yeah, but at this point, still better than everyone else in the league. So it's hard to be negative about St. Louis and the attendance when they're still carrying the league on its back. But at the same time, I mean, it is a drastic drop from 31,000 that first game of the year to the last couple games they've had 20 to 21,000. So it's becoming clear that I think the interest in the Battlehawks is starting to dip just a little bit. So hopefully this offseason they'll do some more marketing to try to get fans back in it. But I also think a lot of times they're competing with like the St. Louis Cardinals. So, I mean, Unfortunately, there's just situations where I think they've been kind of screwed on the schedule part, and there's just
Yep.
nothing the league can do. There's nothing St. Louis can do about it. It's just is what it is.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Certain days just don't work out good for St. Louis as well, especially if you've ever been there, which I know you have. It's pretty crazy downtown, just getting around.
It is, yeah.
So we don't have the TV average yet, same as the last game. I'll be curious to see it though when it comes out for sure.
Yeah, I mean these early kickoffs have actually done pretty well in the ratings.
ABC.
So, I've been seeing them between getting 800,000 to 1,000,000. So,
Yep.
especially ABC. ABC's seems to be doing a lot better with ratings, which has always been the case for them over the last few years. They've always done kind of better than Fox typically.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's roll on to the last game, the Sunday game. Columbus took on the Stallions in Birmingham. The Stallions took home the win 14-3. But man, this was a dry game.
That is a nice way to put it.
Packed moments, but otherwise there wasn't much going. Defense was solid for Birmingham. I'll say that.
I mean, that defense has been really good the last month. I think that's another team. Like I want to say since like week 4, they've only allowed 20 or more points in one game. Like
wow,
that Stallions defense is playing really good football right now, and especially the last couple weeks, they have been carrying this team on their back. So,
100%.
Kudos to that team, to them. Gilmore had a great game. He had that blocked field goal and the interception. So, I thought he really stepped up in a big way. But I do think that, DTR being there does make a significant difference. He's not playing particularly great the last couple of weeks, but, he had the big touchdown throw in the, I want to say what was that, the second or third quarter? He threw that touchdown. Third quarter. I think it was third quarter.
It was later in the game for sure.
Yeah, he threw that touchdown. Like that was a big moment for them. Like he's been the right guy. He's, I think, a much better choice than Matt Corral. So that's a trade that I thought was really smart for Birmingham, and I think it completely shifted the whole season for them because DTR has been the right guy for them. In terms of Columbus, like they're one-dimensional team. They can't run the ball. They can't do anything. Like I like Jalen McClendon, and I think he's had a pretty decent year, but he's just kind of like Chandler Rogers. He's just not a guy that can carry the team on his back and throw it 30, 40 times a game and, get results. Like this Columbus team, I think it's been proven, like the 2 wins they've had, they ran for like over 180 yards. And when they lose their games, they're running under 120 yards per game. So, and then this game, they were absolutely horrendous with running the football. They just offensively, they just could not do anything. So, Todd Haley's got to add some more creativity to that offense. They got to find other ways to get it done. And I know today I was on their press conference with Ted Ginn, who announced that Jalen Morton's going to be the starting quarterback. So hopefully I think that will bring some different dynamics to the offense. Morton's a really athletic quarterback, and he'll get his chance to kind of prove himself and start. So be fascinated to see how Columbus looks offensively. Would not surprise me at all if they run the ball 50 times and Morton just throws it maybe 10 times in this game. Like that, they'll probably be very one-dimensional and really stick to the running game and just hope it works out.
They just need to pull out the power eye and go at it, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Old school style right there.
Yeah, what the wishbone, just run the wishbone the whole game. They got the backs to do it. I mean, they absolutely do it. I mean, Toa's been lining up as a fullback this year, so why not get all 3 running backs in that backfield and just throw the defense off their guard?
Havoc right there. Chaos, pure chaos.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. Columbus outpassed and outrushed Birmingham. They outpassed them 127-95, then outrushed them 61-49, and then they still lost. But this game was just not very good. It was better on paper looking at the score than what it was in person, I feel like. Or not in person, but on TV. McClendon went 20 for 31, 150 yards and 2 interceptions. Just not a solid week for him, that's for sure.
No, I mean, it's been a rough go for McClendon. I don't think he's played bad overall this year, but he hasn't really had a game where he's been like spectacular. He's always been like average to good all year, and I think that's kind of why Columbus decided to make the quarterback change at this point, because they need a different dynamic to this offense, and Morton is that guy. Like every time he comes into the game, he's coming up with big yards on the ground. So I do believe like this was probably the right choice for Coach Ginn to throw in Morton, see what he's got. At this point, you're 2-6. You might as well try anything at this point. You're in desperation mode. Just see what the young guys got, and he's got a chance. He played well in the indoor football league. He's got he was with the Birmingham Stallions a few years ago. Like he can play at a high level. So it'd be fascinating to see how he does.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, and at this point, why not? You got to try. You could see the frustration from McClendon during the game. You could see, not trying to say anything bad, but just the team leadership. It was kind of hard for him to keep all the guys in control during play, and so that has to be implemented for success on a team. There's just no way around it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you're 2-5 going into a game and not having the kind of success you want. And McClendon has talked about it time and time again. I'm a pocket passer. I don't like running the football, but I will do it if I need to help win a game. So I don't really think McClendon has been able to play his style of football this year. So I'm sure that's a little something that added to it too. That I think the frustration is kind of building. Like he knows he's a good quarterback. Like he's a good passer. It's just unfortunately, it's. When it comes down to the offensive line, they've kind of struggled in protecting him. He's taken a lot of hits and he's had to run for his life a lot of times. So it hasn't gone the way that I think Columbus wanted to.
Understood. All right, let's talk about the tickets. 4,824. Oh man, and it looked kind of shy there in Birmingham, but I will give them this: it was humid, and from what I've seen, there were a lot of people inside, but I don't think there were 2,000 people inside hiding.
I don't know how to be nice about this segment. I really don't. Like I was on PFN's show on Monday and I just had a really rough time. Like I think I made the comment like my condolences to the city of Birmingham. They must be really struggling with the 9-degree weather. I absolutely know nothing about that living in Dallas, Texas, but I mean it's such a weird situation because like do I like the way Rapoli kind of goes about Birmingham? Not particularly. I mean, I don't know if I would antagonize a whole fan base, but at the same time, I think Rapoli is just kind of proving himself right with the idea that he wanted to move the Stallions because we all know like the reality is he was going to move the Stallions to Louisville before Birmingham kind of got behind it. But it's like you can't just come to one game with 18,000 people and then all of a sudden after that just have a complete drop off after that. Like you got to keep coming to these games. And I know the Stallions haven't been great, but they're picking up at the right time. So my hope is these numbers will get, the number will get better for, for their next home game. But it's just like, man, I mean, I just don't see a scenario where Birmingham is going to have a team in the, after 2027 if this is what they're going to keep doing because this is just unacceptable. And it's not just them. Like Stallion fans feel like they always get, roughed up about it. But the reality is they're the loudest fans in the league and they're quite frankly the most annoying. So they get all the heat. But I mean, Birmingham's a lot like Houston and Dallas. Like there's a lot of markets that are struggling, but unfortunately Birmingham's just the loudest. So they get to take the heat. So, I mean, Rapoli is justified in his thought process with, I think he made the joke like, oh, I guess they thought it was a bye week or a road game or something like that. Like, well, yeah, I mean, he's got a point. It's I hope Birmingham does better because the potential is there. Like we've seen it over the years. Like, man, that first USFL game against the New Jersey Generals, like that in 2022, like that stadium was packed. Like that was an awesome environment. I wish I would have gone to that because that was great. Like, what happened to that crowd? Like, what happened to that team? Because I missed that crowd. And even like last year when they had Skip Holtz and they had a good team, like they still struggled in attendance. So hopefully they'll pick it back up late in the season. But yeah, certainly looking like Birmingham is not going to last very long in this league if they keep doing what they're doing. Yep, there it is. I mean, they do it to themselves. I mean, Rapoli's going to keep poking the stick at them because he knows he's going to upset them, and they're so angry with them. It's actually quite humorous, but at the same time, I kind of get why they can get a little angry about it. But oh man, I mean, that city's got to do a better job. The potential is there. It's just there's no excuses, and And I think the only thing that really aggravates me is that they keep using like, oh, the weather, it's 90 degrees and it's Sunday afternoon. So everyone's at church. It's like, man, we got to stop with the excuses. Because like the NFL plays at noon, also Central Standard Time, and they get millions of people watching their stuff. Like, I just get tired of the excuses. Like, it's we got to hold the league accountable. Of course, marketing's got to do better. But I also think at the same time, when are we going to hold the cities accountable? Because this has been the same conversation over the last 2 to 3 years with Birmingham. Like, they got to do a better job.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, and they are in the similar position as Houston. Definitely not as bad, but
No, Houston's way worse.
This is like poking a fire ant's nest. You start talking about it, and you're gonna make someone mad. Unfortunately, when it comes to Birmingham, I've received more messages on Facebook about my attendance numbers being wrong than praising the data, and I'm like, all right, if that's true, send me what you got. Let me see the factual source that you're getting your info from.
I will say there is nothing I hate more than having to post attendance numbers, because my God, people will just lose their minds over it. So every time, and unfortunately, I've been to half of the Houston games and I've been to all the Dallas games. So posting those attendance numbers have not been fun to do this year because, yeah, the people are going to completely crap on it, and they're justified. I mean, Houston and Dallas has not done a good job whatsoever. So there's a lot of team struggle. It's not just Birmingham, but at the same time, hopefully there's more marketing, but these cities got to be held accountable too, especially Birmingham, who fought tooth and nail. They had their mayor involved in the whole situation last offseason. Like, you guys fought for this, and you put up 4,800. Like, come on, you got to do better than that.
Yep, I agree. I always say it was Gucci Mane.
not Gucci there.
Oh, Rick said we're not getting a lot of comments tonight. I know last week I did a live and it did not stream it to Facebook correctly, so it messed with how many people were on here.
Huh, interesting.
Rick said 9 degrees to sit and watch a game like this. I would have been inside as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I live in Dallas, so it's always humid at 9 degrees here. So I mean,
it's the same way here.
I still hate it, but it doesn't bother me as much. But I mean, I kind of get it. But hopefully the league will be smart and actually move up the schedule, which I know Birmingham fans ironically have fought against, because a lot of them are USFL, originals, and it's just like, well, if you moved up the schedule to play in February, you're not going to have this problem as much. So hopefully they'll buy into it, and we can have the season start right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would rather it start early as well. Give me a little more cold and a little more heat for sure.
Yeah. Players will like it too, because players want to go to like mini camps and OTAs. So that will give them the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, it's a good thing that they all practice in Dallas, because I mean, if you're used to playing in St. Louis and then you go play in Dallas or Houston, woo wee.
Yes.
Big difference there, inside and outside.
Yeah. Good thing with Dallas, you get all kinds of weather here. It is so inconsistent. So you get everything here. So the teams can prepare for anything.
All right, let's quickly recap Week 9 matchups. I think, and then we'll hit on the playoff stuff, just the highlights of who needs to win to move on next while we're doing this. All right, so first game of this week, Friday night, the Defenders take on the Storm in Orlando. That game's at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's on Fox. We seen a good game here, Anthony? What do you think?
I still think it's a good game despite the quarterback situation in DC. I still think, whether it's Spencer Sanders or Jason Bean, I think DC will still be competitive, just because I think they're a really good defense. So still think it'll be a close game. And plus, Orlando, they never really blow out teams too often. They're I don't know. There's something weird about that team, that they just don't blow out teams. So I think it will be close, but I still think Orlando is going to win this game. And I think with the win, they'll probably most likely solidify their spot in the number 1 seed for the playoffs.
Yep. Because if DC wins, let me pull up the chart, because I've got it pulled up and ready. If DC wins or Birmingham loses, that means DC makes the playoffs.
Yeah, so DC is going to have to win, because I don't think Birmingham's losing. But yeah, DC will have to win. But Crazier things have happened. It'll be interesting to see who starts at quarterback because I think that could make a difference. I think DC has a better chance if they play Jason Bean, just because I think he's just kind of the better overall quarterback. I think he's more athletic, but I know Spencer Sanders is more in tune with that offensive scheme for Shannon Harris. So be interesting what decision they make on that.
Agreed. Hopefully, the depth chart will really highlight that going into it. I'm curious as well.
I don't even follow the depth chart anymore.
I know, dude.
They've not
Never
updated
update it.
all year. So
I understand. That's the same way I am too, though. I still just do it out of habit, I guess.
yeah.
So that's our Friday night game. Anything else you want to cover on that one? I mean, the Storm's playing for a better seed in that playoff. DC's playing for the playoff spot. So yeah, that's what we got.
It's a shame Jordan's not in it because this would probably be a championship preview, and I mean, still could be, but doesn't feel like that as much now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's roll on to Saturday game. There's only one game Saturday this week. It's the Stallions versus the Aviators, rematch of last week. That's in Columbus. It's at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, sorry. And it's on ABC. I mean, are we going to get this dry, low-scoring game again, or is this one going to be entertaining?
I think it will still be low scoring, but not as bad. I think the running games get going. I think both teams. I don't see Columbus struggling to run the ball 2 weeks in a row, especially with Jalen Morton starting now. I think this will be another close game. I'm almost tempted to say Columbus is going to upset them, but I still like Birmingham to win it. I just think they're the hottest team in the league right now. So I think the hope for Birmingham is they can get the offense going. Because it's just been dead the last couple of weeks. So you'd love to see DTR kind of play better. Honestly, I'm more fascinated to see how many people go to this game. Like you got a 2-6 team, hosting a team that's fighting for a playoff spot, but is Columbus going to show up? I'd be really fascinated because they've been like, okay, they've been doing about 7,000-8,000 per game. I'd be interested to see if they can get around that number. If they do, that'd be a massive win for a team that only has 2 wins on the year. But I think Birmingham wins, but I think this will be a low-scoring game with better performances from both teams.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Birmingham's on a 3-game winning streak right now, so it's in their favor. They have the lead for sure.
Yeah.
This game's on ABC, so I'm liking the lineup so far. Fox, ABC, loving it. Easy to find right there.
Yeah, well, a lot of nationally televised games in the last couple of weeks, which has been really good. You love to see it, even if a lot of them are early kickoffs and stuff like that. I still think it's really good to see the league on national TV. That's good.
Agreed, and I'm loving it so much better than the repeated double headers every weekend for 8 to 10 weeks where you have to pick. That was not good. This schedule's much better.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, our third game, we got a doubleheader on Sunday. The Renegades take on Louisville in Louisville. I mean, I'm going all Louisville for this game. The game starts at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's on Fox. I'm going all Louisville this game. I feel like their fans are going to show out. The team's going to show out, and it's probably a big win for them this week.
I mean, they racked up 47 points on this Dallas team last time they met, and I got to see them in person. So I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I think Louisville wins this game. I'm done trying to justify Dallas at this point because they're not winning at this point. They've lost 5 straight. The confidence is gone. I at this point, I think the team is more worried about, hey, can I put enough film together to get in the NFL? Besides that, I don't know if they really are in it at this point. So I think Louisville wins this game. They have a lot more to play for. They're motivated. They're going to play in front of I would suspect is going to be a very good crowd. I can see them being around, 11,000 plus for this game. So I would take Louisville to win this game.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing the Louisville identity kind of unfold a little bit more. Each week we've kind of seen a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. So this week should put it together for them. It was interesting last week, with the exception of the Birmingham and Columbus game. Every game was within one score. And that game would have been, if it wasn't for that last, that run back from that field goal block, it would have also been the same way.
Yeah, the games are getting a lot more competitive,
For
for
sure.
what it seems like, and the scoring is getting better. Like, I know Rapoli's been pushing really big on, like, getting these games to be, like, 34-31, so the vision is kinda getting there, sort of, but, yeah, the games are good. I mean, the parity in this league is absolutely incredible. It's the best that I've ever seen in a spring league, so, that's been fun to watch.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. We've talked about that, Zom and I, multiple times. But it's like this time last year and the year before, we already knew who was in the playoffs and most likely who was going to win the championship.
Yeah.
We had teams resting starters at this point.
Yeah, and now we have every team still fighting for playoff spots, so it's awesome to see.
Agreed with you. Our last matchup of the week, it's after that first Sunday game. St. Louis takes on the Gamblers in Houston. This game's at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's on ESPN2. So this is
I mean,
our only off-network game of the week. So
yeah,
I'm kind of glad they saved this matchup, but honestly, I'm looking forward to this game more than any other game this week.
it's a fascinating game. Like, Houston's actually really good at home. They're super competitive. They always have close games. Like, I do feel like this is going to be another nail biter that I think is going to go right down the wire. I think St. Louis wins this game, but Houston's a competitive team. They just don't know that most of the time they don't know how to close out games. But this is one I think goes right down to the wire. So and I'm also fascinated to see how many people come to this game. I want to see if they actually get rid of all 5,000 bobbleheads or not. But I think St. Louis wins this game. I think Luis Perez gets back on track. I can't wait to see Sal Canoa back on the field. It'd be great to see him come back after being on the Cleveland Browns last year. So I think if we see Canoa really get going, then this Battlehawks offense is going to be unstoppable with him and Hakeem Butler and Ja'Cory Pearson. Like, good Lord, there's so many weapons on this offense.
Yeah. Stock has risen for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. How do you feel about the ESPN2 game? I mean, I know for me, I really don't mind it, but it will take away from some of the viewing numbers just because you have to have a subscription.
At this point, like, I've been the last year or so, like, I've been more about, like, hey, let's get on national television. But after this year, I feel like, man, maybe we should be less about if they're on national TV or not, and more about let's just get people in the stands. Because I do feel like ultimately what the revenue that they generate from fans being in the games is more important than being on national TV. Like, they're always going to have spots on ABC and Fox, but I do feel like if they can work out the schedules a little bit better, and even if it puts them on ESPN, ESPN2, like, but they can get more people into the games, like, I feel like that's more important because the attendance numbers is a massive problem, and I don't think the league is doing enough in marketing. So, maybe they can try to manipulate it that they can, get a better schedule. Like, it may not be on national TV, but they can get a better, schedule that's more gives them more of an advantage of getting people into the stands. I just feel like that's the most important thing right now. So I actually don't mind it being on cable as much as I used to, but I still hope that the league can still be at least the majority of the games be on national TV.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that. And let's mention too, St. Louis is playing for a playoff spot in this game.
Yeah, they're winning, they get into. So they'll probably be the more motivated team, but Houston, again, just really good team at home, and if they can pull up an upset, that will make the Week 10 like just absolutely insane.
I agree with you. I want to see one of these 4-win teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of rooting for Louisville, to be honest with you. I'd love to see Louisville in the playoff. I just don't think they're going to because Birmingham's got a much easier schedules and they own the tiebreaker, so I don't think they're going to get in. But man,
Yeah.
a 4-16 would be awesome to watch, and then just be like 2023 over again, and just watch them win a championship would be insane.
So this is our highlights of this week. I mean, there's other scenarios that could definitely occur, but I'd say these are the most important, just looking at week-to-week basis. That DC probability, to me, it's about 80% looking at that. The other two, I don't know. Really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I still think DC has a really good chance of making it. I still think St. Louis has a good chance of making it. It's really about that number 4 spot. Like, is it going to be Birmingham? Is it going to be Louisville? I mean, I don't see the other teams really being in it. So
Yeah.
I think it comes down to those two. And then, but I think ultimately it's going to be, I think it probably ends in a tie for fourth at 6-4, which the advantage would go to Birmingham since they won the head to head. So that's that week 1 game is absolutely killing Louisville at this point.
Yep. It's coming back to bite them.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, if you're confused about the playoffs and such, hop on the UFL X and check it out. There's a bunch of people that have figured it out as well, but be wary in what you're following. Make sure that it's legitimate. That's all I can say.
Yeah, there's like a playoff calculator or something. Have you seen that? Like, I don't know if that's. I haven't played around with it, so I don't know if it's legit or not. But
I've seen that as well. And then there's a person on X that's named Playoff Calculator. And
okay, that's I think what I've seen.
yeah, I think that's what you're talking about. But there is a playoff calculator as well, but I don't think it's the same as what there's a person, and that's where John Lewis, I saw it on his show this week.
Yeah,
That's where he got his stuff from. Great show, by the way. I enjoy his show. Nice, short and sweet, man. Good info.
John's legit. John's one of the best in the game. Love that
no
guy.
doubt. But yeah, man, anything else you want to cover before we wrap it up? It's been a good show, nice and to the point. We didn't have too many comments tonight. We got a few questions rolling in. Let's see. How many more years before they put teams in cities full time or sell franchises? Anthony, I'm gonna let you take that one, buddy.
I think it's going to be quite a while.
Yeah.
It may depend on how much they expand. My assumption is if they actually get to their 16 team mark by 2035, then I think they're going to have to, because I don't think the league can afford to carry 16 teams on their back. But I would say probably at the earliest, maybe 2030 if they go to 12 teams, because I know they want to get to 10 by 2028. I personally don't think that's realistic at this point, because I think they're going to have to relocate a lot of teams to try to make it sense. So I can definitely see plans get pushed back a bit just to make sure, because I mean, my philosophy would be make sure all 8 teams are profitable before you actually expand. So because we've seen like the old USFL back in the 80s, they expanded too quickly and they ended up collapsing financially. AAF had 8 teams and they collapsed. Like, the financial part is always so big. So
For sure.
I would really prefer them to get all 8 teams to be profitable. So I actually don't think expansion in 2028 is going to happen personally, just a prediction. So I would say don't hold your breath on teams being sold. I think it may be quite a while before we have like actual team owners for each of these UFL teams.
Yeah, that's like a sweet dream from years ago. We've still been dreaming of that. The individual owner teams or city owner teams.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that for a while. So
let's see. Last question from him. Would it be an MLS model of ownership? So I'm not familiar. You may be, Anthony, with MLS.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm 100% familiar with MLS.
Yeah, I'm not 100% either. More of a football guy, unless I'm just literally researching.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I know about MLS ownership is that the Hunt family, who owns the Kansas City Chiefs, also owns the FC Dallas. So if we're going by that, then sure, I think that's fine. But I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be individual people owning these UFL teams, because I don't know if it's super expensive to do it to own a team. I don't know what the pricing is going to be like, but we'll see. I think the league is still far away from that, though.
I agree, and just talking about the realism of what's happening, they're not only fighting, the league and money and finances, but they're fighting inflation also. So the same price that this team costs this year is not going to be the same in 4 years. No way around it. Insurance.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing the effects of inflation too in a lot of these cities. I think that has a little bit to do with the attendance as well. I think it's just I don't know if people want to go out as much anymore because things are starting to get expensive.
Yeah. You're really having to pick meals or going out and having a good time. So
Yeah.
most people are going to pick meals. Viking White Express says, I am not okay having owners until the foundation is super stable.
What was it? Oh, I am okay. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
okay with.
sorry, I put not in there. Sorry, Royce.
Well, you did, but you put it in the wrong spot. But no, I agree. I don't think we need owners right now. I think the league can handle carrying all 8 teams. Now, when they start getting 10 to 12, then I think they're going to have to start considering actually getting owners for their teams, because I think that will get a little bit too much. I don't think Rapoli's going to want to pay for all that stuff himself. So if they expand, I think we'll start seeing it. But for the time being, I think they're smart just to keep the league owning those teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. I miss the general manager aspect of teams. I think that was helpful in a lot of
Yeah, that was definitely the league, I think, trying to cut back on costs for sure. But I think the GM role has to, hopefully it will come back too, because that was, yeah, it sounds like behind the scenes, and then a lot of times on these media availabilities, I think the coaches are a little bit annoyed by how the roster setups are, and a lot of times they don't 100% have say in what players are coming in or not. So
Yep.
If they want a real identity with these teams, I think they're going to have to get a GM that will actually, bring in players that are going to match what the style of play they have.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. Well, I guess that's about it, Anthony. We don't have any more comments. I appreciate you coming on tonight, man. We got to catch up again soon, and hopefully, if I make it to that championship game, we can catch up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I like that hat, by the way. That's a sharp hat.
Thank you. It's I got all eight of the team's hats at the shop. Don't ask me how much it was, but I'm trying to use them. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting some good use out of them.
I started my collection and then I got them sent and they were in a bag and all crushed. And I was like, well, I think I'll wait until we get through the shipping problems before I order the rest of the hats.
Well, I saw the UFL hat in this. It finally came into the shop, so I gotta find a way to get that.
I got that one. I got that one.
Nice. Yeah, I need to get a UFL hat. That's the only thing I'm missing right now.
Oh yeah, but the hats are where it's at, man.
Yes, agreed.
I appreciate you, Anthony, man. Take care. Check out Anthony Miller if you haven't. Everybody who watches my stuff knows who you are, of course. So you can find the man anywhere. He's in a lot of places. Thank you, Anthony, for your expertise and your coverage of the league. Appreciate it, man. Seriously.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Always, my friend. Until next time.